it worked really well. It kind of fell apart when I got busier.
It does, doesn't it?
It 100% does.
Hey, it's Brett Chittum with Lawrence Systems, and I'm here with Jason Slagle from CNWR IT Consultants. How you doing, Jason?
Good. How about you?
I'm having more fun than any one man should be allowed to have. I've got my coffee. You got your coffee. Um, we used to, we talk about business technicalities and things within business. And Jason and I were talking yesterday about planning for your week. How do you, as a business owner, running a business, or even working in a business, how do you actually plan for your week? And Jason just jumped. Oh, I think you probably jumped out of your chair when I said that. And
Yeah.
and what did you say?
I think I said very poorly.
Yeah, it happens that way, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
it's 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 crazy how we do it. So tell me some of the things you've tried to do to plan for your week.
Oh man, it's all over the board. So I started this journey actually a number of years ago, reading a book called Time Management for Systems Administrators. It's an O'Reilly book. If you do this kind of work, if you're an IT company and you've not read the book, I highly recommend it. It actually
Mhm.
recommends a bunch of like really simple things that I've stuck with to this day. Most of them aren't time management, but they're definitely things that save time. I moved from there to the book, right? Like I think
The
this was
book.
like the first time management book, right? It covers a whole system where everything gets prioritized, and you basically have a physical binder that you carry around, and you copy things from day to day to days. You don't get them done. And when I was an individual contributor and I had just a handful of things going on, and I could look at my tickets and realize what my week looked like, it worked really well. It kind of fell apart when I got busier.
Yeah,
uh
it does, doesn't it?
it 100% does. And then I kind of moved on to a number of other things. I was doing I think David Allen. I was doing this guy for
Hmm.
a while, getting things done. And another good book, right? Like
Yep.
I highly recommend a lot of the things out of it. And the problem is I've gotten busier, and as I get busier, I find myself not planning, and I find myself not planning on the weeks where I probably need planning the most.
Yeah, it's crazy because what do they always say? People don't, they fail to plan, they don't plan to fail, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that go on. And in the IT business, especially, there are things coming at you that you didn't expect to
Yeah.
come at you, right?
Yeah, I mean, my weeks are relatively interrupt driven. I usually start out the week with one or two high level things that I'm attempting to get done. I start every
Hmm.
week and then every day with like, this is my primary task I'm trying to get done for the day, and try to make progress on that. But even some days that doesn't happen.
Right.
As the basically final technical escalation point at our company, right? I'm not super billable these days, maybe between 5 and 10%, but like
Okay.
usually when I'm billing, it's oh crap, no one else can figure it out, and it's escalated
Yeah.
all the way up to me, and those things can't wait typically, right? Like typically it's an outage, or somebody's messed something
Hmm.
up, or somebody needs a set of eyes to move a project that's stalled forward, and like I can't schedule those out. Yeah, I'll get to you in like 2 weeks and 4 days. That usually doesn't work out. So my plans just get grenaded, and I work on something else instead.
When it comes to Jason, it's now a crap show and you have to fix it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
usually.
that does happen. Did you look up the Ivy Lee method I was telling you about
I did
yesterday?
not.
Okay,
I figured you
so
were going
you
to talk
got to
about it.
look that up. Well,
Okay.
I just want to briefly mention it because I've taught classes on this, and I learned this method years ago from a guy I went to a talk with, and I'm going to mention his name. His name's Terry Bean, a guy known here in the Detroit area, and he talked about the Ivy Lee method, and I took that to a level I never thought I would. But it started back in the early 1900s with a company that Charles Schwab owned. It was an iron and steel company, and this guy Ivy Lee was asked to help them get more productive. And he talks about, and I won't go into the whole thing, but it's every day you pick 6 tasks that you need to get done that day, right? And you go down and listen. You prioritize the night before, and you sit there and you go, okay, I'm going to do task one first, task two, task three. And let's face it, emails come in, phone calls come in,
Hmm.
and there are interrupts, like you talked about. You work by interruptions, right? And
Yep.
I think we all do in the IT business. But you go down these 6 levels, and the ones you didn't get done go to the top of the list for the next day and the next day. And you only have 6. You don't do 7, you don't do 8, you do 6. And if you get 6 done, you don't add more to it. You then start on your list for the next day. You got to look it up. It's a great method in because we can't control time.
Yeah.
Time just happens, right? It's right now 9:20 in the morning on December 6th of 2022. That's the time, and it's going to be 9:21, 9:22. We can't stop that. But what we can do is help to control what we have for the outcome at the end of that
Yeah.
time we have. So,
Yeah, I found that, I just recently started a workout program and I'm like, how am I going to fit this in the day? And somehow
mhm,
you figure it out. Like everyone says there's just not enough hours in the day, and there's not. But to a certain extent, there are plenty of hours in the day. Just if when you say that, you're just saying that whatever you're putting off isn't important enough to take up some of the hours
mhm,
in your day.
right.
So my planner's actually, one of the things he's big on is, making a task or a to-do list for the next day before you go to bed, which I want to start trying to do. And I think this Ivy Lee method,
Mhm.
I pulled it up here in a browser window. I think that's actually a pretty good way to do it.
It actually changed. So Charles Schwab ended up paying the guy $150,000 um, to actually do this, and Ivy League came to him and said, "Hey, you just pay me at the end of what you feel the value of this was." And in the early 1900s, that was like $10 million in
Yeah.
the day to day. So um, it's crazy how we try to plan our day, right? I have a calendar here and I'm looking at it right now, and it's showing me the different phone calls I'm going to be going, I'm going to be on. It's showing me the time we're having here today. But while we've been talking, I've had two emails come in. I've had a
Yep.
text come in from our wiring guy, that he wants to have a conversation, and we get interrupted. So it's about not really attempting to control time. It's attempting to control your tasks, I think, is what really happens is control what you do and when you do it.
So I have a question for you: paper or electronic?
I'm all electronic.
Okay.
Um, Now, Stephen Covey actually, my understanding is he has an electronic version of that
Yeah.
that you can use. Um, when I did that originally, gosh, I was back. It'll date me. Um, Gosh, in 1995, I was
Mhm.
using the paper version of that, and really trying to structure my life because I was early in the insurance industry and it was just crazy.
Yeah, I think
But
I have my little boxes that the binders slip into from
mhm,
like 2002 and 2003 for basically 2 years. Like every day I was doing it and it worked really well. But, after a while, you get tired of carrying like a little binder around with you pretty much everywhere you go. And so, I started looking for then something I could do a hybrid. Because I
right.
do find if I write it down, I can't read my own handwriting most of the time, but I find that the very act of
Same
writing
here.
it commits it to memory a little more. So I was really
Yeah.
looking for some sort of hybrid system. I've tried a couple. I've tried Evo Journal. I have one of those
Mhm.
around here somewhere, which is like a thing where it's you write it on paper, but then you take a picture of it and it stores the picture. And yeah, it worked okay. How about
It's just
apps?
an app.
Yeah,
Actually, I
what do
use
you
the
use? Just
calendar
Outlook
app.
calendar? Okay.
Outlook count well, actually not Outlook. I have an iPhone, so I'm
Hmm.
using the iPhone calendar, but I have all of my calendars in there. I have
Yeah,
my personal one, my family one, my business one, all in there. And so I don't try to overlap. Thank goodness my family stuff happens after hours because
yeah,
you do a
yep.
lot of family stuff. You've got
Oh
your
yeah.
kids, your wife, you're just always going. It's never like you get a break, right?
Yeah, we're just coordinating. I use an app on I'm a Mac guy, right? But I
Okay.
think this exists on iOS too. I use a calendar app called Fantastical, which
Oh,
is really good, and it'll pull all of my calendars into one calendar, and it lets you do like free form, like basically calendar entries saying like
mhm,
I need to meet with Brett at Thursday at 2:30
right.
in the office or on Zoom, and it just makes a calendar entry from that. It like picks the time out of it. It picks so
Yeah.
it's pretty nice. I
Fantastic or
fantastical. Yeah.
fantastic. Oh,
It's a
that
couple
sounds like a good
bucks.
one.
Yeah.
I'll
Uh
buy that one.
yeah,
It's
it's good.
but what's funny is not everything we talk about is going to work for everybody,
Yep.
right? It's finding the method that works for you, in getting things done. And I don't know if we could ever come to a resolve on what's the best way to do time management or plan
Yeah.
your week,
It's very
but
personal.
it is, and but it takes a conscious effort to do it, right? That's the
Yep.
important thing. So for everybody out there, we're coming on about the 10-minute mark. For everyone out there that listened or may listen at some point, um, plan your week, but figure out what's going to work best for you. Jason has some good options. I talked about the Ivy Lee method, but it's going to be what works for you best. Any other closing thoughts there, Jason?
Nope, I'm pretty good. Like I this is an area of my life where I've spent a lot of time trying to continuously improve, and I think things are getting under control. I need to do it again now, and maybe I'll try your Ivy Lee method.
There you go. Hey, everybody, make it a great day. It's Business Technicalities. Jason, Brett, we're having fun, and we're going to continue this journey over the next who knows how long, right?
Yep.
All
Cool.
right.
Talk to you next week.
All right. Bye.
See ya.